What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another perspective. I'm Jazz. If you're new and if you're returning, then welcome back, family. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me today. Today, I'm going to switch it up a little bit from how I normally present. We're going to be introducing a new and what I think will be one of my favorite parts of the show. It's a special segment called How Did You Get Here? The reason that I decided to make this part of the show is because, I like to think that our experiences shape us and they mold us to become who we're meant to be. And I think that it's beneficial to offer another perspective outside of my own to you all because there's some shoes that I haven't walked in that maybe someone else has, and you might be able to relate to them on whatever level that they are on or have been. So, and maybe you can use that insight to apply it to your life and maybe help you get through some challenges or just help you navigate the path forward to where you're trying to be. So, yeah, with that said, I do want to go ahead and introduce someone that is near and dear to my heart, our very first guest. And, this person, I feel like we've known each other for a very long time, about 15 years now. So, it's been some time, and I just want to introduce him on. Kassim, how are you?
I'm
What's
good. How
going
you
on,
doing?
man?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's good to hear. That's all. I kind of want to, give you the floor and let you speak. And I want you to just detail a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where you came from. So if you want to go ahead and get into it, hop on in.
Well, Kassim Mills to be exact.
I wasn't sure if you wanted me to include your last name,
Nah, it's
but
cool.
I'll leave that to you.
Nah, it's cool. Yeah, I actually pretty much grew up in. I say Atlanta because not everybody from Atlanta knows the little cities, but I grew up in Lawrenceville, Georgia. All through elementary, middle school, high school. Then after high school, everything, even now, it's like everything is pretty much a blur. Life was just going by. I was just moving, honestly. Like, you know how like you're on autopilot, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like I was kind of moving on autopilot, and I was serving before I had came into being a flight attendant. I was serving at Cheesecake Factory, but maybe like about a year and 4 months, I took a different career. I went to flight attendant training school. That was in like in October of last year. I went to flight attendant training school, and sorry, October 2024, not October 2025. My bad. I had started flight attendant training school, and it was a very eye-opening experience. It was tough, but it wasn't nothing that I couldn't handle as long as I focused, put my mind through it, because that's what I really wanted to do. And after I graduated from flight attendant training school, I was like, I got this new career. Everything is gonna change. I'm this new person now. But right after training, I got assigned a domicile. I'm in LA. You know what I'm saying? I'm in LA,
Okay.
and that was a little tough for me at the time. It was just
One thing I kind of want to go backwards on. You said in the beginning you were just living life. Days were just coming and going. And I just want to understand what made you want to become a flight attendant. What was the moment that just shifted that mindset for you to be like, hey, this is something that I'm curious or I'm interested in exploring?
it was just more so like one day I'm just serving, and I was heavily stressed that day, and I was just like, I don't mind being in hospitality, but
Mm,
I want to do something to where I'm benefiting out of this as well. And I didn't really know I still honestly didn't know what I wanted to do as far as like a forever type thing. And I was just
Hmm.
like, I at least want to see the world. I was like, I at least want to travel, see the world, see things that I've never seen before. And that might put a little more perspective, a little bit more of like a, okay, this is what I can do. Because you meet so many different people and you could be on these planes for like up to 2, 3, 4 hours, even more. And sometimes it's hard not to jump in a conversation with somebody who is doing something completely different and giving you their perspective on,
Mm.
how they live their life.
So then, even like, because I know like you're doing flight attending now, but I like to dig deep into the journey of getting there and what that looked like and all that other stuff. So, how has this experience, how has that had an effect on like your confidence at one point? Because just me knowing you, to me you've always been a pretty confident person, you've always been a pretty extroverted person too, as far as the belief in yourself to do whatever you want to do or just pursue certain endeavors or aspirations in life that you have.
Well, I will say, since I honestly started the job, so I honestly got this, been living in this apartment. I've been in this apartment for like 5 or 6 months now. I feel like I've become so introverted, like, because, yeah,
Really?
yeah. And not that I lost confidence with myself or anything like that. I just don't.
Is it just like the thing where it's like I'm at work all day, I'm always having to be social, so it's like the times that I get to be to myself and introverted and I take advantage of that? Is it more of a that thing, or is it
Yes,
just
and I
like a
take
I just don't
advantage
want to
of
be
it. Like,
around people?
yeah, the job itself isn't hard, but it just weighs you down because of everything that can happen. Sometimes trips can go perfectly where you have short flights, you get to your destination, get back, but then in between, some days it's like you're delayed. Like you could be delayed in a whole nother city and
Hmm.
you don't have a hotel, like you're on the plane and you're in a whole nother city and you could be delayed for like 12 hours. It could be 7 o'clock at night and you've been there since 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh
It's like
God.
yes, you literally have those days. Around those times, I don't like to be around the passengers because they have so many questions for you, and it's like I I don't know.
I
They're
just
like,
work here.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like they will ask you like, am I gonna be able to make my flight? Am I gonna be able to make my flight? Yeah, I feel like I've learned so much about myself. I used to be really impatient. I learned that I'm super patient. Like
Mm.
I'm not, and I'm not someone that's, quick to angry, especially when you're dealing with other people and everything like that. They can feel like their world is crumbling, and you trying to match their energy is not going to make the situation better. I'm always going to be that flight attendant to where I'm going to give you a little bit of peace of mind like that. Like, like I'm
But
always
just
going
not
to,
even as a flight attendant, as a person, like
you
that's
know what I'm
just who
saying?
that's in you. You know.
Yeah, but I also don't overexert or overstimulate myself. You need days to where you have to rest your body, self-care. You have to take care of yourself. And also what I learned about myself because before this I wasn't really taking care of myself the way that I should be
Mm.
taking care of myself.
Mm. So, like the fact that you even had the idea of, hey, I can do this, I can try this out and see how this works for me, even in the moment where you might have felt fearful or trying to overcome those fears. What did that look like? Because I'm sure at one point, because we all experience not knowing how something is going to play out and having some sort of anxiety behind it.
Oh yeah, training, like when I was in training, I was second guessing myself because all you're doing in training pretty much is learning emergency situations. And that felt like, to me, I'm questioning myself. I'm like, damn, can I actually do this?
Hmm.
And then you also have a day in training to where you're pretty much just learning about, there's a whole day just you're watching airplane crashes, but you're
Hmm.
learning how they improve and how they investigate these airplane crashes, and they improve upon, like, that's why there's so many different regulations that people have to go through and everything like that, so many safety protocols that people have to go through because they learned from those past mistakes.
So even in that, because you said when you started getting into it, you was like, I don't know. And so
Literally.
what
And
made you hold on though? What made you be like, okay, I'm gonna just stick it out and see where how far I go?
talking to my other flight attendant friends, pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah, it was more so just being in LA. I was just I was really lonely. I was really, really lonely out in LA. Um, and the crash pad that I was in, like, the crash pad that I was in LA was so different versus like the one that I stayed in Texas. I got to know all the people in my crash pad, you know what I'm saying, like that. On friendships, we had a lot of good times when I was in my crash pad when we were in Texas. But yeah, it was definitely an experience that made me be like, okay.
So community was something that was very important to you. It sounds like in navigating, just because even here, I know we had a big group of friends here.
Hmm.
So it's just like being used to that and then going somewhere where that's not the case and having to adjust and being able to find it again. Like,
Yeah,
I think that was very like self-trusting of you too. Do you think pursuing your dreams and just aligning with that, is it more about having courage or is it more about being uncomfortable?
you have to be uncomfortable in
Mm.
order to get comfortable, because I've never lived in another city by myself. I've never tried to navigate moving out of a whole state to go live somewhere else. Now, if I still wanted to be comfortable, I would have, tried to get based in Atlanta. I would have still had a place in Atlanta to where I'm commuting, I'm coming home to, coming back to Atlanta, every week or so. But I'm just like, now it's like, no, I'm like, I gotta break out of my comfort zone, and I have to make myself uncomfortable to become comfortable.
Mm.
What I will say is, before I fully committed into getting an apartment here, I was, from March to August, I was in a crash pad. And crash pads, I was paying maybe like $200 a month to stay at the crash pad.
It
But
was
it's,
just that thing that kind of helped you integrate or helped you get acquainted
so
with
that's what I felt like,
the
that's what it did.
lifestyle.
It got
Yeah.
me acquainted with being in Texas, for one, because it's so much easier for me to have started out in a crash pad, figuring out if I like the city, figuring out if this is somewhere where I really actually want to move, versus like jumping in here, getting a crib, and then you don't like it, and but
Right.
you signed a lease.
Right.
I felt like starting off with a crash pad was going to be like, my best option for me, because I wanted to navigate the city, see if I liked it, love it here. It's great.
I'm glad you found somewhere that,
And I love the weather.
yeah, that feels like is meant for you, because I think that a lot of us we're all searching for a space that is meant for us, right? And
Yeah,
like you said, it's about you have to be uncomfortable to become comfortable. And I
exactly.
think that's also a reason why a lot of people hold back on going for certain things, because they think about everything that can go wrong versus everything that can go right.
About the
And
things
because
that they have to sacrifice and
right,
things
because
that
you
they can't
never
do anymore.
right, because you never been in that position before, and it's like having to actually try something new is like, nah, I'd rather be comfortable,
Right.
and I think also it, because even for me, I sat on not doing this podcast for about 6 years, and it's not because I didn't want to do it, right? It was more because I'm just thinking I gotta do some extra shit before I can even do that. Not realizing I already had the tools. I just needed to apply myself, you know? And
Literally.
I think that's where a lot of us get tripped up. We think we need to be in this position. We think we need to have this set up first before we can even get into it, and it's not really like that, you know? It's
At all.
just make do with what you have. I've been having all this equipment since I would say 2018. You
I'm
know what I'm
so
saying?
dead.
And that is crazy. That is crazy because I was telling myself, well, I gotta build this before I can do this, and it's like it's not really like that. You
At
know,
all.
it's not really like that. You have to start from somewhere. You have to like put yourself out there because even for me, I want to take this a step further. I want to, you know, offer more things that can support whatever community that grows from this. But how can I get that community if they don't know I exist? I have to put myself out there.
Exactly.
So that is a major thing, you know, with being uncomfortable and everything like that. I kind of want to lean toward like closing this out a little bit and start making our way that way. So if there is someone who's currently feeling stuck right now, feeling how you were feeling before you decided to go down the path and the journey that you're currently on, what would you say to them? What would you tell them?
You always are gonna have to go through you always are gonna have to go through the hard parts before it gets easy, and that's for sure with anything that you want to pursue. Anything that you're trying to reach for, you have to go through a lot of the hard moments in order
Mm,
for you to come in. It's all about that delayed gratification. All
mm,
about that delayed gratification. To know that after you have done all this,
mm.
and then now you're at the end, and now you get to reap the benefits of all the hard work that you just went through, you know?
It takes trust. It takes having trust in yourself and
Literally.
having faith in yourself. Like I can do it. You know, even on your worst days. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Even on the worst days. Wow. Well, I'll say this, Kassim. I am very, very proud of you, man. I'm very proud of how far you've come from, you know, we've known each other since high school. So, you know, I've seen you at a lot of different stages in life
Yes.
and I've seen you, you know, make
The
what's
worst decisions I've ever made in my life.
that's not what I was gonna say. But I mean, you're decent, man. You good. You're doing what you want to do. And I think that that's the most important takeaway from this whole conversation is that you found a way forward. You found a path forward. And you didn't let your fears or your worries or your not having stop you from doing that. So, if I could ask one last question, it would be looking back on the version of you that existed 5 years ago. Hell, even if you want to say 2 years ago before you was doing this, or even if you want to take it back to before you was even serving, before you did any of this, what would you say to him? What would you say to old Kassim?
Would say, bro, go apply to be a flight attendant right now.
Hmm.
I would say lock in, put everything down, get into aviation right now. I would have told myself get into aviation out of high school. I kind of am trying to lean towards of like right now it's just like me holding myself back because I'm too scared. I kind of want to go to pilot school and yeah,
Uh
yeah,
oh.
yeah. I kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I kind of want to go to pilot school. Kind of
And
want
why
to
not?
be.
Why not? Dream as big as you can dream, y'all. We only experience this. The life that you experience and now in the body that you have, you're only going to experience that one time.
And it's
So
more so
what?
just even piggybacking off of what you said of what I said earlier. Like, you know what I'm saying? more so scared because I'm gonna be in an uncomfortable situation just because
Mm.
it's very costly to do stuff like that. It's expensive to go to pilot training school and all that. It's very expensive. And it's like, but then now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, well, if you're not uncomfortable, how are you gonna get comfortable and finally doing this job, this really high paying job, you know what I'm saying? And you have to fly a plane. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hey,
I've been in the cockpit a few times, and it's
that
amazing.
might, but that might be the most freeing feeling ever.
You know,
Being, becoming a pilot, or if you stick with that idea and you actually execute on it, it's just more so like where you were versus where you will be in the future. It was all worth it. It
all
was
worth
worth
it.
that whole journey, that whole path, and I'm rooting for you. I'm always rooting for you with whatever you want to do. There's
Appreciate
never
it.
going you will never hear me say you cannot do it, because I'm always going to believe in you.
I appreciate it.
So I'm glad that you've come this far. I'm glad that you've given yourself the grace and the opportunity to go as far as you have. And I would say, man, keep doing it. Keep going at it. Keep doing whatever idea that comes up in your mind, do it. If something shifts, if something changes, do it. It's
Right.
okay. Well, I respect you so much. Thank you so much for tapping in with me. Thank you so much for calling in with me. And
Thank you for
y'all, this,
inviting me.
of course, and you're definitely always welcome back, man. So this has been another perspective, y'all, with Jazz and with Kassim. I'll add the Mills on there. This is one of my favorite people. So hopefully he'll be back with us one day, someday, and
As a pilot, maybe.
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I'll tap back in with y'all later. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all.